our first Wildlife Wednesday. I'm Chesney.
I'm Lucy, and we're here at Seedskadee National Wildlife Refuge, one of the few places you can see lots of wildlife, pretty close to Green River, about 35 miles northwest, and we're here on the refuge today.
All right, let's go check it out.
All right. Hey, here on Wildlife Wednesdays, we're out at Seedskadee National Wildlife Refuge inside of their top-notch visitor center. And if you come out here and the weather is lousy, come on inside. It's a fabulous visitor center. There's even a scavenger hunt for the kids. Right now it's closed, and so we're going to turn it over to the refuge manager, Tom Kerner, and he'll explain a little bit about how you can still get in here to see the visitor center out at Seedskadee.
Yeah, hello. So during the current pandemic, our visitor center is not open during regular business hours. But if you want to come out specifically to see the visitor center, call ahead. 307-875-2187. We have a really small staff too, so a lot of times, even before the pandemic, it's wise to call ahead and make sure somebody's around. The rest of the refuge, other than the visitor center, still remains open to the public, so fishing, hiking, birding, you can still do all of that on the refuge. Hunting seasons are coming up. The refuge will be open during the hunting season. Our 24-hour restroom, that is open as well. We clean that twice a day. So still lots you can do on Seedskadee, and the only thing that currently isn't open is our visitor center.
Great, so we're going to go ahead and jump outside and check out the animals here at Seedskadee.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Tom Kerner. I'm the refuge manager out here at Seedskadee National Wildlife Refuge. And each year in late July and August, we ban mourning doves, not to be confused with the Eurasian collared doves that you find in town. But mourning doves, they're actually one of the most popular birds that are hunted in the United States. There is some hunting in Wyoming, but Texas, Arizona, places of the south, it's quite a big deal down there for their hunting as well. One of the requirements to hunt doves is we have to band a certain number in all the states that the bands are that the doves are raised in. So we're going to give you a demonstration here on the banding that we complete each year on mourning doves. So we've got a walk-in trap here. We put bait out. The biggest challenge is put more bait than the chipmunks can eat. We got lots of least chipmunks, and they eat bait pretty fast, or they put it in their burrows for winter. But we do have one dove walks in the trap to get to the bait, and then we can catch it, put a band on it. So this one is unbanded. A lot of times you get repeat bands or bands that somebody put on at another location. If that were the case, I could record the band number, and there's a place online you can enter the band number and it'll tell you where the bird was banded and if it's ever been caught before. And then if a hunter harvests one with a band, they can report where they harvested the bird. So the information that would be recorded is an adult or a juvenile, and this one's an adult. The juveniles would have little buffy edges to their feathers. This one doesn't, so this one was born not this year, but 1, 2, 3 years prior. It's a male, so we would record it as a male or female. You ask, how do you tell the difference between a male and a female mourning dove? I didn't know that either. They actually have a little blue cap on the head. You probably can't see it very good from there, but the females won't have this blue cap, and then they have a rosy breast. If you turn it in the light, you can see rose color in there. And then if we were going to ban this one, we already put out all the bans on mourning doves, a couple hundred over the last few weeks. We would take this band. It's got a unique identification code number on it, and we'd put it right on that leg, and then let her go. And then we input the information into this online database so that if a hunter harvests it, and I'll bring the band to show you that too. So here's what the bands look like. Tiny. You got to put on your cheaters to read that. but you can see there's a unique coat on there. We put it on the band on the leg, and then we try to do this as fast as we can and let her go. So, ready?
Yep.
Here we go. So continuing our discussion on banding of birds, we just talked about banding mourning doves. Primarily we're doing that for hunting seasons for doves in Wyoming and states to the south of us. There's lots of other reasons we band as well. A couple weeks ago we banded some trumpeter swans. The reason we were putting bands on trumpeter swans is we put the aluminum band, obviously much bigger than we put on a mourning dove. We have different bands for bigger legs. But then we put a color-coded band with a unique 3-digit numbers and letters, and then color on the band, so on the leg band. So if that swan climbs up on the ice in the winter, I've been able to read that. We'll take a picture and you can zoom in and you can read it. So you can tell movements on trumpeter swans. So that's a reason we might do it. We're also doing banding on a lot of songbirds to track their migrations. So for that we'd use a mist net, it's called. The smaller birds would fly into the net. It's like spider web almost, catches them in the net. We can remove them and put a band on them. And we've got several guides that are extremely detailed on how to identify juvenile birds that don't look like the adults, and it'll tell you what size band. So these are number 2s. There's many different size bands that depending on the species. A hummingbird band would be tiny, and a trumpeter swan, of course, is much bigger. So those are some of the other reasons that we might band as well. It gives us a lot of information over time on where birds are moving, how long they live, key areas that they're using during migration or for nesting. So a lot of different reasons we would put bands on birds.
Driving around Seedskadee looking for a moose or perhaps some trumpeter swans, and ran into Katie Tooley here. She's the refuge managed specialist, and she wanted to point out some stuff you can still see here real close to the water. And Katie, what can we see here?
Well, this right here is a really good spot. We're just on the auto tour loop for the refuge, and you can pull off. There's lots of great pull-offs, and just grab your binos. In spots where we got lots of shrubs, really good places to see migrating warblers, little tiny birds, so great for birding. On this overlook in particular, you might even get lucky and see some trout down there in the water. And then, you know, of course, cottonwoods, moose like to hang out, might just be hid up underneath taking a nap. So yeah, just bring your binos and get out. You can walk anywhere and yeah, see lots of good stuff.
We got our binos, we're ahead to find the moose.
So our auto tour route goes past lots of pullouts. We have different pullouts, and we're slowly putting some informational signs out along the auto tour route. Stop, take the time, get out and read them. This one talks about sagebrush and how sagebrush supports a lot of unique species that are very unique to Wyoming. Greater sage grouse is one. Last night I was driving back from fly fishing right at dark, and there was actually sage grouse walking across the tour route and went right past these signs. So when you're out at Seedskadee, don't forget to stop and look the other way from the river. You might see pronghorn antelope, greater sage grouse, lots of different kinds of birds, small little ones that are hard to identify but are very unique to the sagebrush habitat. Brewer's sparrows, sage thrashers, sagebrush sparrows. Might even see something like a pygmy rabbit. We actually have those out here too. So while you're on the tour route, don't forget to stop and look into the sagebrush and see other kinds of wildlife out there as well that are very unique to Wyoming.
Well, we had a fun morning here at
Awesome.
Seedskadee.
We sure did.
Yeah, and it was just about a 30-minute drive from Green River, so not very far. And big thank you to Tom and Katie for helping us today with the clips. That was awesome.
Yeah, and we actually were able to see the trumpeter swans and the moose, and the roads out here are well maintained. They're gravel dirt roads, but you don't need a four-wheel drive truck, a big fancy high jacked up truck. We drove our car out here and we still saw lots of animals, and again, no people today.
Yeah, it
It's
was
fabulous.
Very quiet today. So, all right, well, thank you for joining us for Wildlife Wednesday, and we will see you next Wednesday. We are headed up to Little Mountain.
Awesome.
All right, see you there.